right after we got these sentiment figures, because when you take a look at the consumer side, sentiment is going down, inflation expectations are going higher. I have to imagine if we can see this tit for tat continue, that we're going to see more readings like that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing to remember is that really these tariffs have only just started to take effect, right? And that the direct effects of the tariffs on the economy aren't really there yet. We also know that a lot of companies have built up inventory ahead of the tariffs. So, you know, the prices that you see at the grocery store for those flat screen TVs at Best Buy or Walmart and so on may not be reflecting the tariffs just yet. But we are also seeing, at the same time, just in the past week, a real freezing up start in terms of global trade, and particularly U.S.-China trade. We know that lots of companies have frozen orders from their Chinese suppliers. We know that bookings for containers are way down just in the last week from where they were beforehand. So we know that there's an impact that's going to come. We've been watching this kind of rolling impact through the financial markets for the last week. The rolling impact through the economy of the tariff kind of starts now.
You know, right now, Shawn, it looks like the administration is punishing the allies that it needs to go up against China, and even at the lowered levels, putting a tax hike on American consumers, the likes of which they haven't seen since the 80s. But is the idea, you think, to negotiate quickly a good deal with our allies and then all of them gang up on China?
Yeah, look, I think that's the way the White House is spinning it, but I think it depends on what you call a good deal and which side of that deal you're sitting on, right? I'm not sure the European Union is going to think that a deal that involves a 25% tariff on their car exports to the United States and this 10% baseline tariff remaining in place, which seems to be what the administration is setting as the kind of floor for any negotiation. I don't think the European Union is going to see that as a good deal, and I don't think that's a lot of companies here in the United States are going to see that as a good deal. You have a lot of, remember, pharmaceutical companies, even European manufacturers like BMW down in South Carolina that are employing Americans who rely on inputs from Europe and components or the elements that go into making medicines here in the United States. Eli Lilly has a huge operation in Ireland. A lot of that stuff goes straight to Indiana, where they then turn it into kind of finished medicines. So, you know, all of that impact is still there. In terms of applying pressure on China, I think the message we're getting out of China so far, and we heard that again overnight, is they're not interested in talking right now. They think that they can wait out the United States. They think that the pain in the United States is going to be tougher for Donald Trump and for the American consumer to bear than for the Chinese government or the Chinese consumer, and therefore that they have perhaps more leverage than the Trump administration thinks. That's why, you know, a lot of people are increasingly worried about tit-for-tat tariffs just kind of continuing to escalate, although, you know, they've reached a point with China where there's no point in going any higher. You've shut down trade effectively with 100% plus tariff.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, that is Bloomberg's Shawn Donnan, keeping very much on top of what has been a live situation.